this dude, I don't mean no harm, but this dude really is some crap, man. I went and heard the song, the one video, I ain't even gonna get that shit no airplay, my bad.
All right, boy. I'm ready.
Tahaka, Pig 10, Bay.
You suck, Tahaka. Dreamy and drooling, falling for the fooling. Mental slaves sell out or get bought out for cooning. Being your example to follow with no strain. Meant means mind, so govern and entertain is more than you imagine. Carbon is melanin, Quran and Bible angels are cherubim and seraphim. Riding on the light angles, traveling at warp speed. We created crossbreeds, now we can't walk free. The mind is the plantation, everything is mental. Even filling your brother with lead like a pencil. Mercenaries with chalk use bodies as a stencil. If rival gangs won't stop you, barbed wire fence will. It could take more, but it might take less. Cursing your God on Job's, cash in the fake checks. Spending fake monopoly money, counterfeit at best. When you see something is wrong, you need to counter it best as you can. You don't need a magic wand or to click your heels twice to escape dreamland. Just use your mind. If you can't relate, you're living in an illusion, slave to the dream state. If you just heard about Drew Ali, don't think he's late. He brought nationality and link back to your East state. As Negro and black, we act like we can't see straight. Shaken by the shoulders, waking from their dream state. If you just heard about Drew Ali, don't think he's late. He brought nationality and link back to your East state. As Negro and black, we act like we can't see straight. Shaken by their shoulders, waking from their dream state. Invasion. Drew Ali, my water when the fire starts blazing. Running with the holy buckets, the Caucasian. While Asiatics daydreaming, mental stargazing. Not paying attention, but paying taxes and fines. Nas said the world is yours, he really meant mine. If I ruled the world, you wouldn't want to be black. You wouldn't want to be a deadbeat dad or be whacked for sure. You wouldn't want to be the dirty Moor leader, convicted and facing my firing squad either. You won't be put in a box, forget the cedar. Taking tires off cars at unexpired meters. If I ruled the world, dirty Moors would hate it. Find them with their wrists slit in bathrooms naked. Find them holding scimitar handles slumped over with suicide notes to Jehovah. If you just heard about Drew Ali, don't think he's late. He brought nationality and link back to your East state. As Negro and black, we act like we can't see straight. Shaken by the shoulders, waking from their dream state. If you just heard about Drew Ali, don't think he's late. He brought nationality and link back to your East state. As Negro and black, we act like we can't see straight. Shaken by their shoulders, waking from their dream state. Dream a little dream, wake up from the nightmare. Dream a big dream, live your life in fright, scared to change. When everything that grows must do such or stay stagnant. Living your life as a pageant, made up faces with eyeliner and makeup, created by the same ones you call racist. Wake up, allow their dignity and exercise patience. Don't shock them too hard with electrifying statements. Everything cloudy, mind acting rowdy, hypnotized by Pied Piper, signing rap ungodlies. Having so much influence, youths won't pull their pants up, looking like a jailbird, begging for some handcuffs. In a dream state, getting grands up for freedom. Fiat is a slave to banks, you better see them. No different than the people are slaves to brand names. Move from dream to reality, change the landscape. He started from the top, don't listen to your man Drake. Only till clan hates and Masonic handshakes don't work. Moors are back, do your homework and assignments. Realize Moorish is the science. If you just heard about Drew Ali, don't think he's late. He brought nationality and link back to your East state. As Negro and black, we act like we can't see straight. Shaken by the shoulders, waking from their dream state. If you just heard about Drew Ali, don't think he's late. He brought nationality and link back to your East state. As Negro and black, we act like we can't see straight. Shaken by their shoulders, waking from their dream state. There's a lot more. You just put it out there. Widen commerce, you're not freestyling on none of this, because you're agent too. What SF-181 form, IRS form, or U.S democracy form, you're telling Moors they're not Moors unless they fill out that form? F you too. The hell out of here. Chat muftis, you already know. Regulate whatever you gotta regulate with these clowns playing this stupid game, right? Of always wanting to side with the colonial force. Always wanting to side with the colonial force. Doing anything in their power to make these colonial inquisitionists recognize them. F you guys. All of you. Tarik Bay, F you. Liar. Goddamn liar. So here's the charter for the Moorish Science Temple of America. Moorish Holy Temple of Science. Right? Now if you look right here, right? You'll see this is the seal that Tarik showed on his show, saying that we sell these seals for $30. Tarik, make sure you bring forward the people who we sold this seal to. Just make sure you bring the people forward, right? Just for the people on the other one. Make sure, Tarik, because I know you watch our stuff, make sure you bring forward the people who we sold this seal to for $30. Make sure. Because if you don't prove your claim, you're a fucking liar. And you can go fuck yourself. Excuse the language for the children that might be listening. But these Moors are dirty out here. These Moors out here are trying to get you to be slaves to the U.S democracy. There's no goddamn republic going on right now. What republic is still around right now? Ain't no republic around right now. This is democracy up and down. We're selling seals for $30, but you're not going to talk about our Neil Bay, who's your boy, that's selling charters for $250. How come you're not talking about your boy Neil Bay, who sells charters for $250, Tarik? Hey Tarik, how come? How come? How come you're talking about, you don't even have proof for your claim, talking about we sell seals. We sell the Moorish Divine and National Movement seal for $30, but you have nothing to say to your boy, Neil Bay, Richard Neil Bay, Malik Shakur Bay. He tries to pretend he doesn't know who our Neil Bay is. Malik Shakur Bay, how come you're not addressing him for selling charters for $250? How come all these videos you got, you never mentioned them once? How much times you mentioned Taj Tarik Bay, RV Bay publications? Never once you mentioned our Neil Bay, who's selling charters for $250? F you, pussy hole. F you. We don't respect people like you guys. Zero respect. None. None. And we're going to keep calling you agent and sellout. We're not calling you a different name because we already know what you are. You sellout. You fat boy sellout. We already know what you are. Right? We already know. We already know that you guys are sellouts. Trust me, we know you guys are sellouts. Why? Because you want people not to think. All these Moorish Science Temple of America, Supreme Grand Sheiks, and whoever else out here that are out here right now today claiming that they got some authority over members in their temple or whatever, sold out their people. With the exception of few, very few, maybe 4 or 5 temples with the exception of. And those are people who we rep that are Moorish Science Temple of America too. And because they didn't want to get caught up in the BS, they have alternative additions to their temple name. So Grand Sheik Nature says Great Seal, Moorish Science Temple of America. Why? Because you would never, ever, 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 ever hear these people rep Great Seal. Why won't they rep Great Seal? Because they sold out for the democracy. They sold out for the ego. They sold out for the ego. These people are going to talk BS, quoting Noble Jwali. They're going to talk about Moors haven't done whatever. Tarik-ites, your temple. Where's your Moorish Guide newspaper at? This one is Winter Solstice Edition. Winter Solstice Edition. We had in this one Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish Divine and National Movement article. You know what I mean? We help Moors, active Moors, promote their business in our newspaper. What are you guys doing for your people? We know we help Moors promote their businesses in our newspaper. Right? We know that we help. But nah. Listening to these punks, these clowns. Right? Naima Ifa Bey gave us an article. We got a write-up on Charles Mosley Bay. We got 101 questions in there. We got Moorish National Awareness Survey. We even got proclamations. We even got proclamations in our paper for all the Moors in Canaanland to put their free national name on the record. Instead of going to the foreigners' newspaper, instead of going to the Colonial newspaper, they use their own newspaper. Why? Because Noble Jwali set it up like that. Because we're a body politic. We're not citizens of no U.S. How are we citizens of U.S. when that's a corporation? What do you mean you're a citizen of a corporation? What kind of dumbass thinking is that? You're Aboriginal, indigenous to the land. That's why you're national. That's why you have a nationality. Because this is your nation. This is not your corporation. U.S. has nothing to do with you. But these people are going to play their little game. Right? That's just one of the papers. We just want them to present one paper that they put out. Right? Moorish Guide newspaper. Once again. Right? You had your links of interest. So whoever got the paper, they can do their own due diligence and go study. We had contact information. Right? Ads for people. Right? Noble Jwali's newspaper, so we put his articles in there. Divine Warning by the Prophet for the Nations is in there. Again, the Standard. Right? Making sure people get their promo. Even whether people shout us out or not, we don't care. Right? Ciroc album promo in there. KTL album in there. Guerrilla Republic in there. Peace to Sister Star. Long time. Right? But where's their stuff at? How come they can't show you anything? How come they keep showing you PowerPoints and you think that they're somebody? They're showing you PowerPoints. Right? Once again, Moorish American National Survey. Moors, test themselves. Right? Again, ads. Helping the upliftment of our people by giving our people an opportunity to promote their business so they can be industrious. And do what? Take their place amongst the affairs of men. Why? Because somebody read the newspaper, which Noble Jwali said is our greatest weapon, our press. But these people don't even have a newspaper to show you. But they're talking BS about active Moors. F you guys. Right? They're mad at Grand Sheik Nature. But guess what? He had a Moorish Guide newspaper. Remember, he's Great Seal, Moorish Science Temple of America. But he had a Moorish Guide newspaper. This is 2012. Where's these people's paper at talking BS about active Moors? Where are they at? I bet you they're all in the temple playing passive. I bet you they're all in the temple running behind some Grand Sheik who is telling them they can't put out a paper because they need permission from the Grand Sheik to put out a newspaper. We told you that these people sold you out. Now, what did he have in his paper? Excerpt, Friday, September 1928, by Noble Drew Ali. It is not unusual for a newspaper to make its debut in the city of Chicago. The past years have seen many such come and many such go. The Moorish guide taking its initial bow to the public knows not what the future awaits it, but throwing its efforts on the sides of right, reason, and tolerance, we hope that we might make the grade. Oh yeah, and also for these U.S. Negroes, don't forget, FBI and Department of Justice is now under investigation. Since you think that you're part of the U.S. and you're part of the U.S.A. and you're citizens of the U.S. and all that stuff, well, Department of Justice and FBI, which are arms of U.S., are under investigation. Wow, why are they under investigation for? How about you just go read and find out for yourself why? And remember, Active Moors told you that the Pope already told you that this was going to happen. The Pope already told you this is going to happen. But you're not going to listen to Active Moors. You're not going to listen to Moors who say that they're national. You're going to listen to Moors saying that they're citizens of U.S. and trying to convince you that it's not a democracy, it's a republic. They're just pretending that they're a democracy. It's a play on words, but it's really a republic. What are the names that we give lower self? Beast, demon, devil, whatever, and all that stuff, right? Okay. All right. The Moorish guide enters the field of journalism with malice toward none and charity to all. It is not our purpose to disregard the work of other splendid journals. It is not our purpose to fail to give due attention and space to all American citizens, individuals, and organizations alike who are working in their chosen fields of endeavor for the progress and development of all American citizens and all American institutions. When you look up the definition of American, it's the copper tone natives that came over here before the European came here. So who are the American citizens if somebody's an American citizen? It's not going to be Europeans. It's not going to be Turks and all these people who are foreigners here, that this is not their land. They're not indigenous here. How could they be American? If Noble Drew Ali said American citizens, if Noble Drew Ali said Moorish American, but Moorish means descendant of Moroccan, and America comes from Al-Maroc, which is Morocco. You're Moroccans? That's why Noble Drew Ali said think and save yourself. Because if you don't think, these people are going to put you right back in slavery. Just for you being a dumbass and not thinking. Just for you taking the position that you don't have to study, you can just go to the temple meeting and let this Grand Sheikh or whoever tell you what it is. Tell you what? These people sold out. Do you understand? Moors killed Noble Drew Ali. What don't you get? You know Noble Drew Ali told you, the Europeans helping me, why not you? Why is he telling you that? Because even his own people weren't helping him. Why were they helping him? Because they sold him out. Which is why he made that statement. And these Moors echo the statement, and then they're going to tell you, well, you know, join the European democracy, because if the European is helping Noble Drew Ali, why not you? How are they helping Noble Drew Ali? How's U.S. Corporation helping Noble Drew Ali? Give me 10 ways. 10 ways that they're helping Noble Drew Ali. 10. Anybody who claims they're Moorish Science Temple, anybody who claims they're Moorish, whatever they say that they are, and they're citizens of U.S.A, and they're going to quote Noble Drew Ali said, the European is helping me, and they're looking at U.S. as some Europeans helping Noble Drew Ali. Name 10 things that they've done for Moorish Science Temple. And don't be bringing up proclamations and all that stuff, because when you check the proclamations, they don't say Moorish Science Temple. They talk about Moorish Nation. Don't bring up the proclamations, because they don't talk about Moorish Divine National Movement. They talk about Moorish Americans and Moorish Nation. They weren't addressed to Moorish anything. Those had to do with Noble Drew Ali and him being recognized by them. But they're not doing anything for you dummies, because they already put their position out there that you have right to self-determination, so what the hell are you looking at us for? But Moors in these temples that are playing this game, that therefore their people and therefore the liberation of their people, trust me, they are selling out our people. Why do you think people like Sabir and stuff like that don't want nothing to do with Moorish Science Temple? But, you know, they're never ever going to recognize that he has a nationality card for Moorish Science Temple. They're never ever going to recognize that Tarik Bey has a nationality card for Moorish Science Temple. Ben had it. So what's that tell you? Doesn't that tell you that clearly Moorish Science Temple of America should be doing what they're doing? How come Sabir Bey is the first one to do a documentary on Noble Drew Ali? He's not even in the Moorish Science Temple. Why is he the one? How come none of these Grand Sheiks over the past 80 years haven't done a documentary on Noble Drew Ali yet? Why? How come? What's the reason that they're going to give? What's the reason they're going to give that they haven't done it? Why? What do you mean? DVD's been around. But still to date, they still haven't done one yet. They still haven't done one yet. And the only reason certain people were in Prophet of the People by Sabir Bey is because Sabir is from Philly. So those Moors who are in Philly got the plug, because you already know Sabir reps Philly harder than anything. You know he reps for Philly. There's no way that American citizen means be part of the U.S. democracy. There's no way. Anybody thinking that, you're a goddamn idiot. You are such a fool if you think that. Like, the stupidity one must have to know that American means the copper-colored natives that were in America before Europeans came here. And then they're going to be telling you about Greek Americans and British Americans and German Americans. What German American is a European? What British American is a European? America means people who were here before European came here. This is why Noble Drew Ali made it a point to make the book small. Because if he told you everything, you'll go back to sleep. The books are small so that you can go get the rest of the information. You're not supposed to be limited to just those books only that Noble Drew Ali brought. You're not studying anything else. You're basing everything that you know on these 4 little books that Noble Drew Ali brought, and you never even did research on the things in those books. Oh yeah, that's right, because you're a member of Moorish Science Temple, and the Grand Sheikh has you guys under manners. The Supreme Grand Sheikh has you guys under manners. I know. Because, you know, when we were coming into this, Moors who are in the Moorish Science Temple of America told me personally, I cannot give you a 101 questionnaire. I have to talk to the Grand Sheikh first. I cannot give you a Quran because I have to talk to the Grand Sheikh first to get permission to give you a Quran. These are the people that you're saying rep Noble Drew Ali. Noble Drew Ali said that you can have a Quran on expense. They didn't even give me the expense amount and say pay that. They said no Quran for you. We need to talk to the Grand Sheikh first. Why do you think they're mad with RV Bay Publications? Because RV Bay took all Noble Drew Ali stuff and put it on their website and made it available to the public who wanted to know about Noble Drew Ali. They didn't hide it in their little chambers talking about the red book is the adept book. Trust me, that's what we know as active Moors. As Moors who they can't put a muzzle on. As Moors who they can't put a leash on and tell me that I can't put out a newspaper because the Supreme Grand Sheikh didn't give me permission to put out a newspaper. When you guys haven't had a newspaper for 80 years? And Noble Drew Ali said the press, oh yeah, Noble Drew Ali said, it is not our purpose to fail to give due attention and space to all American citizens, individuals, and organizations alike, who are working in their chosen fields of endeavor for the purpose and development of all American citizens and all American institutions. We hope to cooperate with them in the intensive and grueling battle for universal justice. The Moorish Guide feels that the greatest weapon in the hands of our group today in America is our press. The truth will never be told about a disadvantaged minority by the general press of any country, whether that minority be racial, political, or religious, unless we express ourselves through papers. Unless we, Moorish Americans, express ourselves through papers, the truth will never be told about a disadvantaged minority by the general press of any country, whether that minority be racial, political, or religious, unless we express ourselves through papers of our own. The truth about us will not be told. Many of our accomplishments, right, which these people have had no accomplishments for 100 years. That's why you have no newspaper. What have they accomplished in 100 years? They're so down with U.S and all that stuff. What has U.S done for them? Nothing. U.S is treating them like Prince Hall lodges. Not even worth the time and the energy. Why? They're citizens of the U.S. They're obligated to help them because they're part and partial of this said government. Well, how come this said government has done jack shit for Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Moorish Divine and National Movement, and Moorish Americans? What have they done? And again, name me 10 things that this U.S corpse has done for Moorish Americans. 10. Many of our accomplishments, many of the beautiful things, many of the hopeful things, and events which mark the progress of our group will go unrecorded were it not for papers of our own. Many of our accomplishments, many of the beautiful things, many of the hopeful things and events which mark the progress of our group will go unrecorded, were it not, which means that there had to have been papers. You know, all they tell you about is Moorish Guide. But we know in Chicago there were other Asiatic papers. And what were they doing? They were pushing Noble Drew Ali's program. They were talking about Noble Drew Ali in their black newspaper. They weren't talking about black guys. Why were they doing that? What was the purpose of that? What was the point of that? What was the point of having Oscar the Priest and all these different people in quote-unquote politics be associated with the Moorish movement? What was the purpose? You think they were working with Noble Drew Ali because they were working for the democracy? They weren't working for no democracy. They were there to teach you government. They were there to teach you how to govern yourselves. They were there to be an example. They were there to be a footstool for you Moorish Americans. That's why they were in there. They were in there to be your footstool. Why do you think they were backing Noble Drew Ali so hard? Because he's with U.S or U.S.A? No, they were backing Noble Drew Ali because he was the prophet. That's why they were backing him. That's why they were obligated to him. That's why they went to the convention. That's why they were making speeches at the convention. That's why they invited Noble Drew Ali to come to the inauguration. He never went on his own. They said, come. Why? Because they know that the power is in the hands of the Moors. Who would know that there's a prophet around and not invite the prophet to their stuff? You think people are stupid as to what prophet is? Like how our people are? Remember, these are the same people who kill prophet, put fake prophets there, and then have you chasing after reincarnated prophets and saying that they're Noble Drew Ali. These are the same people who are around today. People who made up titles. People who had their own conventions after Noble Drew Ali passed. They put on their own convention. Not the convention Noble Drew Ali. They put on their own convention. And then these dumbass Moorish Americans who claim that they love the prophet and all that stuff, they abandoned the prophet to go join these clowns that are around today. Never had a newspaper. Never put a newspaper out. Never even did anything relative to our greatest weapon. Because if they wrote any books, it was limited to Moorish Science Temple of America only. Nobody else was getting this. Why? Because they had to brainwash their followers. Because just like we said, as soon as you go out there and you start buying these people's books or whatever, that they claim that they're some superior, they're some type of authority in the Moorish whatever, when you read their books, you find so much backwards BS in there, it'll make you throw the goddamn book away. You don't even want to read that BS. Why? Because they're selling out. Been sold you out. Why did they sell you out for? Isn't there a holy covenant that it's supposed to look after their brother and sister? Isn't there a Quran telling you that you gave these people sovereign power? Now they're taking their sovereign power, ruling over you like a dumbass because you don't want to think. You don't want to be an active more. You want to be a follower more. Like we told you people. Taj Tarik Bey is a reference point. Right? No disrespect, but understand the message. He's a reference point. Fuck Taj Tarik Bey. Fuck RV Bey publications and all that stuff. Those are reference points. We don't follow them. What the hell are you talking about? We follow somebody. Who's following after Sister Raz? The hell are you talking about? You can ask her. Been had her number since 2009. Ask her how much times I call her. No matter what type of issues we got going out here. Now I'm gonna go bother her, badger her like some of these people sending 50 emails to her and all that stuff about BS. I seen the emails that you people send. Because she sends them to me on the strength that I don't call her. Look what I have to deal with and all that stuff. Look at what these people are, look at what the BS that these people are coming with. Right? You think I'm calling Mother Anita or whatever to ask her some question for me to get yelled at for being a dumbass and not studying? Ha! You're crazy. You're crazy. Because clearly, you come from the generations that don't know about ears licks and eyes licks. You just think, you know, strap and all that stuff. You can get ears licks. You can get stared at by auntie and your ass starts to hurt. Because you swear those eyes are attached to a belt. But what does it do? It makes you humble yourself and go study. You know, do you understand? Is it clear? If it's not clear, let me make it some more clear for you. Remember, these are active Moors, right? So Brother Abdullah came out. Masonic Gate newspaper, 2014. Remember, all these people who say that they're Moorish, whatever, they never put out a paper yet. But 2014, here comes Masonic Gate. Here comes Masonic Gate, 2014. You think they supported this? As far as Moors, Moorish Science Temple, Moorish whatever? No. Why? Because, again, it's exposing the secrets that these people are keeping. Because we already told you, Noble Drew Ali told you, Christian ministers were trying to destroy what he had. You think Christian ministers aren't Masons? Every single Moorish Science Temple of America should have been buying these papers in the bundles from Brother Abdullah. But again, you know, they're not going to do that. Because if they do that, then that's going to let the people know that these people are Masons. Which, the fact that they didn't support this should let you know that they're Masons. And we're talking about 80-90% of the people who claim to be Moorish Science Temple. How come they're not supporting Brother Abdullah's paper? That the paper doesn't even be released anymore because people lack support. No different than Civil Alert newspaper that Sabir Bey had fell off because there's only so much papers that you're going to have stacked up that nobody's supporting. Why are you going to keep having papers stacked up that nobody's supporting? Grand Sheikh Nature Al-Bey. You can even contact him to get old papers. Papers from before 2012 that they got on stacked up to the ceiling because nobody supported. Because everybody talk BS about they want to support the Moors and they're going to do the Moors and we're Moors and all that stuff. When it's time to support, everybody goes to their little corner called Moorish Science Temple, whoever their Grand Sheikh is that is giving them permission on who they could support or who they can't support. And as soon as they realize that the people are starting to, you know, wake up, oh, here they come with their little agents, Tarik-ites, Moorish World TV, right? All these so-called Moorish whoever's that got YouTubes now thinking that they're somebody. Thinking that they got some authority, they got some power to be teaching people anything when these people are dumbasses. Teaching people what? People aren't supposed to be taught. People are supposed to go study. You mean get taught something. The Moorish Guide newspaper, Masonic Gate, Al Moroccan Star. Oh, Al Moroccan Star. You don't even find any of those. You bring up Al Moroccan Star to some of these Grand Sheiks and look at how red they get. Remember, they're brown, but they get red. Why do they get red? Because they thought they buried certain stuff. That's why when you mention Tarik-ites to some of these Grand Sheiks or whatever, they get red. Why are they getting red? Because they know that he's the vampire slayer. And all those people that call themselves grand whatever are vampires. Tarik-ites is garlic to those people. You just mention his name, see what happens. See them start burning. I can't take this. Stop it. Their fangs start coming out and all that. You keep thinking it's a game. We told you Moors killed Noble Drew Ali. Forget Chicago police. Ain't no way that Chicago police killed Noble Drew Ali when Noble Drew Ali's gonna have a parade and Chicago police is making sure that everybody clears out the way, get the hell out the street, the Moors are coming down the street. Chicago police do that. Make sure you tell them to read those articles. Don't just read the articles relative to Moorish Science Temple. Read the articles to show that Noble Drew Ali wasn't even paying attention to no U.S. He was exercising on behalf of Moors so you can have something. What you got today? Huh? What you got today as Moors? No, louder. I didn't hear what you say you have today as Moors. Remember when Noble Drew Ali was around, we had manufacturing companies, all that stuff, right? Where's that stuff today again? Huh? Talk louder. Okay. Right. Moorish guideposts. This is what Tarik-ites was showing. Right? This is the seal that we're selling for $30. Right? How come he didn't show you? How come he didn't show you that this, right? How come he didn't show you that this is actually the judicial proclamation for the Moors? Not for Cujo, not for the 3 people who signed or whatever, for all the Moors. For all the Moors in Canaanland. You think we're doing this for some Moorish Science Temple? Let's just see. Let's just see who we're doing this for. Let's just see who we're doing this for. Upon our inherited nobility and upon our private Aboriginal, Indigenous, proper person status and commercial liability, we, Moorish Americans, being duly affirmed under consanguine unity, pledge our national, political, and spiritual allegiance to our Moabite Moorish nation, being the archaic Aboriginals, indigenes of Amexem, the Americas, standing squarely affirmed upon our oath to the 5 principles of light, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, do squarely affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and having knowledge and firmly established belief upon the historical, lawful, and adjudicated facts contained herein, being competent in my own proper person to attest to this affidavit upon which we place our signatures, whereas we state, proclaim, and declare the following to be true, correct, certain, absolute, not misleading, supreme, and not intended to be presented for any misrepresented color or improper purpose or use, to wit, that we, Moorish Americans, are nobles of the Al-Moroccan Empire, North America, in propria persona, being Moorish American, a descendant of the ancient Moabites by birthright, freehold, primogeniture, and inheritance, being Aboriginal and indigenous to the lands, Amexem, Americas, territorium of my ancient Moabite Moorish foremothers and forefathers. Now, if they thought that that was so fake and they thought that we were really Canadians, we'll put it on the record again, why is it that Ontario Court of Justice, when they stopped me and gave me all these tickets right here, that they recognized that Cujo L is X relation to the straw name. Now, you know, if you're a dummy, you probably never looked up X relation. Go look up X relation and ask yourself, if we are so Canadian, if we don't have the right to denounce Canadian citizenship and don't want to be that, why is it that their record, as colorable as it is going to say Cujo Adwo L X relation? Why do you think they put X relation on there? You think they don't know? You think they just put X relation on there because they think Cujo Adwo L is a AKA Kevin McCletchy? No, they know it's not AKA, which is why they put X relation. Remember, they say that they want show us in court that this stuff works in the court. Well, there it is right there. Why would they put X relation on their document? Why? They put X relation on their document just because they you know, don't know what it is? Keep letting these people play games with you, and you would stay in this effed up condition that you're in. Moors we're talking about. Forget Negroes. Moors. Moors who are having issues. Moors who have problems going on. Because they're under the impression that these people who call themselves Grand Sheikh and Grand Governor or whatever are in their favor, when they're not in your favor. They could care less about you. They just want to make sure that U.S. looks at them as, you know, good Negroes. That's all they want to make sure of. That if it goes down to the go down, U.S. is going to look at them as, you know what? You guys did a good job. Slap their ass like some basketball stuff and send them on their way. And of course they're going to take the ass slap. Of course they're going to take U.S. slapping them on their ass, telling them good job. Why? Ask yourself. All right, look at all the tickets on there. Right, and I can tell you that they dismissed everything except insurance. And again, you know, even though they charged the straw for insurance since 2011, I ain't heard from them. How come I haven't heard from them? How come they haven't sent any letters or anything like that saying, oh yeah, you owe? How come? They know which part I'm at. I'm in the same place where I was in 2011. Still here. Why? Why? You think they just put X relation on here for no reason? They put X relation on here because they think we're Moorish Canadian? They put X relation on here because we're pretending to be something that we're not? They put X relation on here because that's law. That straw man could only be represented by the Attorney General or somebody who's in proper person. Look up X relation. Clearly I'm not the Attorney General. So what must I be? In proper person. Doesn't this let you know that they know? We're not going to listen to Kudro, who's a Grand Sheikh of Moorish Science Temple. You're going to listen to these sellouts of the Moorish Science Temple. Right? Moorish guide again. Have they ever let the people know that everybody's down with birthrights? Have they ever put anything out to let people know that this is way bigger than Moorish Science Temple of America? How come they haven't? How come it takes some nobody Moors in quote-unquote Canada to put out a newspaper talking about the return of the Moors? How come these people in Moorish Science Temple of America that claim that they're not Moorish nationals, how come they haven't done this? Why not? Yeah, if you want the paper, you can get your bulk 50 papers or 100 papers, so you can get the word out to your people. Because trust me, everybody who's received our paper, the first thing they say is, Tupac? Tupac knows? Tupac knows? How does Tupac know? Well, he knows. You mean that guy in the Beyonce video, he was a Moor? Yeah, you didn't see any markings on his fez, did you? The hell do you mean? Prince knows? I have every Prince album. I didn't know that Prince knows. Well, jackass, he did a name correction. What do you mean he doesn't know? His name became a symbol. Why? Because symbols is how we originally spoke to each other. We didn't speak to each other in words. Symbols. Guy snaps and makes fire, you know that he's an alchemist. Symbols is how we spoke. When last year these Moorish Science Temple of America people mention Hayward Bay? How come they never told you that a bay is a champion, a belt holder in boxing? How come they never told you? But they want you to come to the temple. They want you to come to the temple. You think it's a joke out here? It's not a joke out here. Some of us take this very serious while people are playing games. While people are playing games, some people take this serious. They're not playing like how these people are playing. Right? Islam brother Jeremy Bay, it's not even up for question anymore. But what you got? You have these dirty Moors questioning. Why they questioning? Islam brother Najib, yeah. Malcolm X did a status correction. Cassius Clay did a status correction. Yusuf Bey, who was Captain Joseph X, did a name correction. You think they don't know that they're Moors? You think Erykah Badu coming out and saying that she's L, she's not letting you know that she's Moor? Or that's just some nickname she just made up for the rapping thing because, you know, rappers have a lot of names, so she just called herself L as just a rapper name. Fools. People are going to play around. They're going to stay playing around. They're going to stay playing around. Because that's just what they do. And like we've said, there's those people who are real about this, and there's those people who are fronting. The fronting people always got some BS to say to try to convince you that this is not your stuff. You need to go through their orders to get some type of freedom. Stop giving the European power by claiming that the New Deal supersedes the divine Savior. The Moor wasn't claiming that the New Deal supersedes the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. He was letting you jackasses know that in 1929 when the stock market crashed, everything went back to the Moors. Noble Drew Ali said that. Oh, but everything went back to the Moors, but these Moors don't want to be themselves, be their own government. They got constitution and all that. They want to be tied with this Negro. They want to be tied with this Negro. This nigger government. Remember, go get the Negro Problem by Tarik Bey. The Negro Problem book. So you can get why we tell them why we put it like that. Because the nigger and the Negro is the European. The nigger and the Negro is the European. They want you to be citizens of that though, U.S. And then they're going to try to convince you that U.S and U.S.A is interchangeable. Yeah, they're both acronyms. Of course they're interchangeable. But United States of America is not U.S.A. And U.S is not United States of America. How do we know that? Well, if U.S.A was really United States of America, then why would United States of America or U.S.A be part of the Organization of American States? Which many of the members of the Organization of American States are saying U.S.A and Canada shouldn't be part of this because they're not even American. Just go read the articles from the nations of the world who know that Canada and U.S. are colonial operations and have nothing to do with government. U.S. and Canada are colonial operations. They have nothing to do with the Americans, who are the people who were on this land before the European came here, which all the members of the Organization of the American States, other than U.S. and Canada, they know that they're Asiatic. It's not even a question for them. Go read the articles with any American state, prime minister, president, whatever, talking against Canada and U.S. being part of some Organization of American States. Right? And we told you that the people who claim that they're Moorish Temple of America, the people who make that claim, and they start talking about after Noble Drew Ali died and then the successor of the whatever, those people are the sellouts. Because they shouldn't even be talking about after Noble Drew Ali died. They should still be talking Noble Drew Ali today. Not in the sense of he's alive as a being, but his lessons were very crystal clear to anybody who thinks. And again, we'll put it on the record that these people are a fraud. And you need to go study and stop playing around like Moorish Temple of America is going to save you. They are not going to save you. They're not going to save you. Trust me, they're not going to save you. So we have a testimonial. It's not going to be long-winded because Moors, need rest too. But we'll just get this one out there. There's a lot more.
Hey, yo, bro, what's good?
Yo, everything's peaceful, fam. What are you saying, yo?
Chilling, man. Just getting in.
Yo, I hear that, yo. Well, you already know how it goes. We're not going to take too much of your time. But please let us know.
Long days and long nights.
Long days and long nights. Moors need rest too, yo. So we're not even going to keep you long. But we wanted to get those, the testimonial from the weekend, and also to put it on record, the one about the Benz and driving up and all that stuff. However,
so we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back. Probably.
Just put yourself on the record there so everybody knows what's up.
Oh, Islam, peace and love to everybody, all the Moors, awakened and sleepy Moors. It's SetenRa Day. Just coming to give you a little testimonial, a little information, man, some things that's been going on here. So I guess we going back probably about 2 months. Me and the family from the Moors over at the Round Table were out doing the street cleaning. And in the midst of the street cleaning, you know, we got people riding by, honking their horns, people thanking us, you know, police riding by, waving and all that type of thing. Real peaceful demonstration we was out there doing. We was out there cleaning up for probably about a good 3 hours, maybe 3.5 hours. And just so happened that the Grand Sheik from one of the temples actually rolled by. So, you know, he stopped, you know, what's going on, what y'all up to, you know, a little bit of community service. We just out here, you know, cleaning up a little bit. And, you know, he just kind of like nodded and was like, all right. And then he pulled off. So I can't say that I know him, but I know who he is. I was actually come past his temple one time, probably a little more than a year ago. Me and Tarik-ites went over there. And it was heated at first, you know what I'm saying? Too many misunderstandings, too much finger pointing, too much blame laying, and none of that coming from us. You know what I'm saying? Just from people in the, you know, the rumor mill. Well, you did this, you did that, blah, 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 and all this other stuff. So fast forward a whole year or so till about 2 weeks ago. We had class at the York House Saturday before last. And probably 45 minutes before I wrap up, the Grand Sheik comes in. And, you know, I acknowledge him. That's why I'm Grand Sheik when he came in. And, he spoke back. So he sat down and he made his way up to the front of the room. So I asked him, I put him to the side because Taj was actually going in on some stuff. Taj wasn't actually attacking the Moorish Temple of America. Taj was doing what he always do, speaking about the people that's a part of the Moorish Temple of America who are not doing the prophet's work, who are doing their own work. They're not sticking to the foundation or building upon the foundation that the prophet laid down. They actually tore that foundation down and started doing their own thing. So I had already gone in on it. I actually addressed that guy Tarik-ites that was saying, you know, that the treaty wasn't having anything to do with Moorish Americans and all that. So I actually went into the treaty and broke it down. Went into the Constitution, broke it down, and showed how it applies to us. And in the midst of that, the Grand Sheik just happened to walk in. So when he walked in, what he was thinking is that he heard Taj attacking the Moorish Temple of America. And I found this out Saturday. And when he said he wanted to speak to the people, I'm thinking, all right, you know, he got a message he wanted to deliver, or he got something to say to the people. When he sat down and I gave him the microphone, he immediately turned his attention to Taj. And he looked at Taj and he took a deep breath. So when he took a deep breath, now I'm on guard because I'm thinking, what the hell is he getting ready to say? What is he getting ready to do? So he said to Taj, are you a member of the Moorish Temple of America? So Taj looked at him, and Taj said, I've never stopped being a member of the Moorish Temple of America.
Islam.
So then his response was, then why can't you do and say everything that you do and say under the Moorish Temple of America? So Taj did what he did. He went on his ass. and it was, yeah, Taj went on his ass. It was a little back and forth, but Taj solidified his point. So then, you know, when the Sheik, I guess he didn't know what to say after that. A young brother came up. Now the young brother started out at the York House with us, and he went over to the temple. So he came up, and their whole purpose for coming to the York House, for coming to my forum, was he said, I want to talk about unity. So if you want to talk about unity, then what you should do is come to me and say, listen, I want to talk about unity. I want to talk about doing this, that, and third. Is it some time where we can sit down and talk? You don't come to my forum and sit down and verbally attack my master teacher, everybody else's master teacher, in front of people that love him. You made yourself look bad.
You're lucky you didn't.
You don't do that. You don't. She, like I said, I was extremely pissed off. But the one thing that I didn't do is I didn't react. I learned well from challenge. I learned well from Abdullah Iltili Mosudeh.
Yep.
So I didn't react. Although I was extremely pissed off, I didn't react. So, you know, the brother said, man, he just going and going. And I let him have the floor. I let him say everything he wanted to say. And then when he was finished, I kindly stood up and I took my microphone back and I said, listen, what you need to understand is this. You're MSTA. That's fine. I'm Moors Order the Round Table. I said, but what you need to understand is we are microcosms under the macrocosm called the Moorish Divine and National Movement of the World.
Islam, say that again, because somebody said that we're selling Moorish Divine and National Movement of the World seals for 30 notes.
No, we ain't selling no seals.
Say that again.
So everybody, clean out your ears, close your mouth, and listen to what I'm about to say. Go into the Prophet's literature. Go back to 1910. Go to when the Prophet first came out and said, come ye Asiatics and hear the truth about your nationality and birthright. Go back to then. Because at that point in time, back in 1910, when he was in and out of barbershops and up and down the streets in North New Jersey, how about this, Sheikh? How about when I asked if anybody knew, and this went to the temple members as well, if anybody knew what was the Prophet's ploy for getting people to listen to him in the first place? How about none of them never even knew he was an herbalist? You're telling me you didn't read the lessons, you didn't read the word.
Right.
Right. So before any of that, there was the Moorish Divine and National Movement of the World. So with me being Moors Order the Round Table, with you being Moorish Science Temple of America, we are microcosms in the macrocosm called the Moorish Divine and National Movement of the World. And for anybody who got any mumblings or anything to say about me and the Moorish Science Temple of America, I'm talking to my brother on the phone, the Grand Chief of the Canaanland Moors, Moorish Science Temple of America, where I go a few times a year. So there's no issue with me in the temple. There's an issue with me and people.
Exactly.
Now, so back to the brother, he said, man, we need help. That's why we come around here. We need help, man. And if y'all come around there and y'all come help us do this, that, and third. All right, so if you need help, then come to me. Don't come to my forum and try to imprint yourself on the people because you're making yourself look bad. Come to me and say, listen, we need help. Any way we can do this, that, and third. Then I'll reach out to the people and say, listen, let's go try this. But you don't come into another man's house and put your feet on the table and smack his wife on the behind. You don't do that. You don't do that. So now fast forward 2 weeks. So this past Saturday, I actually made a comment about what happened a couple weeks ago, and I said to everybody, I said I did a great job of holding my temper and being calm, because like I said, I was really pissed off because they violated in the worst way. But I wasn't going to let the people see me lose my cool.
No, when you say
right?
when you say they violated, what would you consider that violation to be?
All right, so first off, the first violation is this. You sat down and you attacked the master teacher because you thought you heard something that you didn't hear. That's the first violation. You don't come in. First of all, you come in and you act like you come in peace, but you don't. You got an agenda, and the agenda was trying to talk to people in the York House into leaving the York House and coming to their temple. That's the second violation. You know what I'm saying? You don't do that. I would never show up at any temple, whether I go to Canaanland, whether I go to Asbury Park to see nature, whether it's the brother Cain Rabe out in Lancaster County. I'm never going to go into anybody else's forum and say, listen, why don't y'all come on around here and get some of this information I got? You don't do that. I'm not going to walk into another man's house and put my feet on his dining room table. You don't do that. That's total disrespect. Now you might because you got the title Grand Chief, that might carry some weight around the corner at the temple. It don't mean nothing at the York House to me.
Straight up.
You just all you are to me is another Asiatic, another Moor. That's it. That carries no weight. So now, like I said, fast forward to this week, they come back. Now, I'm finishing up my lesson as they come in. And then I'm about to introduce Master Teacher Abdullah Ilsali Mosi Bey. So Abdullah's in there and he's breaking down some things. And the Grand Sheikh attempted to challenge Abdullah on the things that he was saying, not realizing who he was talking to. And of course Abdullah straightened him out. And just to put the icing on the cake, I said a couple things just to really put the nail in the coffin. Because you're not going to come around here acting like you know the moon, the stars, and the quasars, and you don't. And it's not about competition. But you don't come in here and be trying to challenge people, and you ain't in a position to do so.
Right.
So that's the third violation. That's the third violation. You come in here, and you've done plenty of classes, and you've been to plenty of classes. You know just like I know, anytime somebody's presenting, if somebody has a statement, you don't walk up to the front of the class and stand in front of the presenter.
That's what he did, yo.
Yo, listen, man. Listen, Sheik. Listen, that's why I do it for that.
So these words are dirty. Come on, yo.
How do you walk from where you are to the front of the room and stand in front of the presenter? Like, who do you think you are, man? You don't do that. We don't imprint ourselves on the next man. We don't do that. That's respect. That's honor. So now after class, now they want to talk. They want to come up to me and say, "Can we pass out some flyers?" Hell no, you can't pass out no flyers in here. Well, damn, brother, what's wrong? So then I let it be known. That shit y'all did last time, and forgive my language, but that shit y'all did last time, it wasn't cool, and I was pissed off. Oh, well, man, we ain't mean nothing. I said, you insult, you attack Taj, and you don't mean nothing? Even though Taj can hold his own, Taj didn't need me to back him up. Taj straightened it out right then and there.
Right.
But the point is, you don't come in here and do that. So then he called himself apologizing. Oh, well, this is the Grand Sheikh. I apologize. I didn't mean nothing by it. Blah, blah, blah. So, I just straightened him out. I said, listen, man, you don't come around here and do that shit ever again. Now, like I said, I'm still staying calm. Do you know 20 minutes later, I'm breaking stuff down at the York House. Now, they over there, and they in a little debate with some of the brothers from the York House, some of the young brothers. They actually, this is what the Temple guys actually said, that Canaanland is not a part of North America. Canaanland is bigger.
Sounds familiar.
Yo, it's ignorance, man. I mean, come on. You're talking about the same landmass. Canaanland is actually bigger than the landmass they know as the corporate United States. Almost twice as big. And if they had any sense, they can just go to Google and they can type in North America and find out North America goes all the way up to Greenland. But they're ignorant. They don't want to do that. They just dealing off emotion. So now I'm not engaged in that conversation. I'm just listening and laughing at the argument they're having. What made me go over there and engage with this, when I heard the young brother say, if y'all come to 3 classes at the temple, I guarantee you, you won't come back here.
Wow.
So now they've been begging them to come all this time, but they're not trying to hear it. And to any members of the MSTA that's out there listening to what I'm saying, please get it through your head. I don't have a problem with the MSTA. I got issues with people. Cujo's my brother. Cujo stays at my house. Cujo comes amongst my family. I've been amongst his family. I don't have a problem with the MSTA. I got a problem with people. Get it through your head. I don't want no emails. I don't want no text. I don't want to see no Facebook. None of that nonsense. My issue is with people and the bullshit. When the brother comes into the York House, into my forum, and he says to somebody, come to the temple 3 times, and I guarantee you won't come back here, now you done violated. You done stepped across the line you shouldn't have crossed. So then I kindly went over there and I said, listen, I said, I don't like what I just heard. I said, and I'm going to say it flat out. Don't ever come in here and do that shit again. Ever. And I'm calm, and I'm not raising my voice, but I'm stern, and I'm looking you in your eyes. To the young brother that I know, and to the Grand Sheikh. Don't ever come back here and do what you just did again. I said, what you don't know, because you don't know these guys. I said that they came from the temple, and they came here because they were being mistreated.
Yep.
I said, you don't know that because you don't know them, and you didn't ask them. You're busy just trying to drag them to your place.
Right.
As opposed to saying, listen.
And just to update you, I don't know if you saw the class when Brother Hassan called in, but he said the same thing in Baltimore, that all these Moors from the temple are leaving the temple to come to House of Ram to learn because they realize that the temple's playing them.
Yo, it's the truth. When I'm in the House of Ram, I'm meeting people from Virginia, I'm meeting people from Baltimore, I'm meeting people from everywhere when I'm in the House of Ram. But I mean, listen, man, we got a brother that I met at the House of Ram. He lives in Virginia. Bro, he rode his motorcycle to the York House. He comes from Virginia to the York House, bro, because they treated him and his brother bad at the temple. It's not, see, people got to understand. It's people. It's not, the temple is a building. It's a facilitator. It's the people inside that's screwing everything up. Bro, well, I made myself 110% clear. Do not come back here and do this again. I told him flat out. I said, if it happens again, I'm not going to hold myself. I ain't asking nobody to stop no camera, and we're going to deal with it right then and there. If you do it again, if you violate again, there ain't going to be no Mr. Nice Guy. Because it don't have to be that in the first place. All you got to do is call me, and we can sit down and talk. We can make things happen.
Right.
I'm not a hard person to get along with. Listen, I just came home. It's like 7:55 now. I've probably been home not even a half hour. I left my house at 5 o'clock this morning. Long days and long nights. But this message needed to be heard.
Islam.
This message needed to be heard, man.
No,
I wanted to be clear, Sheik.
No worries.
That I don't have a problem with the MSTA.
Yeah, just say it one more time, just so that they can, get the point.
So you get the point. I don't have a problem with the Moorish Science Temple of America, with the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, with the Old Canaanite Temple, with any lesson that the Prophet left behind. What I got a problem with is people who misuse it all.
All right, one of the... No, go ahead.
If you misusing it and you're attacking us, you're looking like a fool because people know we bring truth. Truth don't need an excuse. Truth don't need an excuse. People when they hear it, they know it. We come in with truth, and that's why people coming to us and running from whoever else. Islam, Sheikh.
Two quick things before you go. One of the misusers, one of the statements that they made, if you could address this, is U.S. citizen and American citizen are interchangeable.
All right. So, for people who don't understand, America and U.S. are two totally different entities. I know when people speak connotatively, when people speak today, they say U.S. and American is the same thing. It's not. People got to keep in mind, America was here long before some U.S. A U.S. citizen is a citizen of a corporation, a 14th Amendment citizen. Go back into the Prophet's lessons. The Prophet said the 14th and 15th Amendment are not necessary for the salvation of my people. You go back into the Prophet's lessons, the Prophet said, I'm talking to all Moorish Americans and all American citizens. He didn't say anything about U.S. citizens. I'm talking to Moorish Americans and all American citizens. When you're talking U.S. citizen, you're talking about a corporate entity. You're talking about an American citizen, you're talking about a national. Two totally different ballparks. But when you're playing clubism and you don't understand law, when you're just dealing with emotion, then you think it's the same thing. That's just like people running around crying about black. When they know we're not black, but they're emotionally tied to the word. Same thing when U.S. and American. If you're an American, that means you're an Aboriginal, Indigenous, Al-Moroccan. If you're a U.S. citizen, then that means you're a corporate entity, part of a corporation. I'm not a U.S. citizen. By default, I was made a U.S. citizen because I was born with a birth certificate. You declare and proclaim your nationality, you debunk that. Totally different paradigm.
And then attached to that is that Moorish Americans are not Moorish nationals.
So I got one word. I got one word to describe that statement. Was ignorance. Can somebody explain to me, whether it's in the chat or wherever else, what's the difference in a Moorish American and a Moorish national? see, here, this is where the clubism comes along. Because people say you can't be a Moorish American if you're not a part of a Moorish Science Temple of America. That's what they say. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's kind of like the statement when the brother looked at me and he put his hand in his chest and he said, you got Temple Moors, and then he looked at me and said, and you got street Moors. So I guess that's the difference in a Moorish American and a Moorish national. Mm-hmm. Right? So it don't matter whether we street Moors, whether we Temple Moors, whether we, like they said, pothole Moors or closet Moors, we all Moors.
Straight.
We all Moors. If you can't get it out of your head that a Moorish American and a Moorish national is the same, then you got issues. You got issues, and and the reality of it is, you know better than the European. If you keep on segregating your people and putting your people down like that, you know better than the European. You know better than your so-called oppressor. You now have become the oppressor because you think you're different. Because you say you're a Moorish American and you say I'm a Moorish national. You have now become the oppressor. I got a test before I leave. I got a test for everybody. For everybody listening right now live, and for everybody who listens to this later. This is what you do. You go into your bathroom, you go into your bedroom, or you go wherever. I want you to stand in front of a mirror, and I want you to look into your own eyes and ask yourself, who do you see? I want you to look into the windows of your own soul and ask yourself, who do you see? Check yourself. Shoot, I guarantee you 90% of the people on this recording won't do it.
And then what does it mean if they can't do it?
If they can't do it, when you can't look into the mirror and you can't look into your own eyes, it's because you don't like what you see. It's simple. You don't like what you see. You see, when I look into the mirror and I look into my eyes, I see a warrior. I see a man who loves his people. I see a man who's willing to fight and die for his people. And see, the things we do, we putting our lives on the line.
No doubt. Traveling
back and forth, up and down the highway, on and off of airplanes, on and off of buses and trains. We put our life on the line to do this. We not, Cujo is the Grand Sheik of a Moorish Science Temple of America. He's one of the only Grand Sheiks that I know that traveled outside of his temple, outside of his comfort zone. Because he's able to look in the mirror. He's able to look into his own eyes and tell you what he sees. When you can't look into the mirror and look into your own eyes, it's because you don't like what you see. And if you don't like what you see, then you need to change it. I promise you, I've done this experiment plenty of times at the York House. Nobody will come up and look in the mirror, bro. I challenge everybody on this call. Try it tonight. I don't mean look to the left. I don't mean look to the right or look at your hairline. I'm talking look right into your own eyes. You know what I'm saying? Right into your own eyes. I guarantee you they won't like what they see. Anybody who that thinks there's a difference in a Moorish national and a Moorish American is crazy.
Okay, and the last one. The confusers said that birthrights makes you a citizen. So to regain your lost estate, you must become an American citizen or a U.S. citizen, since those are interchangeable.
So again, man, I got one word to describe that. So here's the thing. I'll speak because I'm right here in this corporate entity called Philadelphia. So I'll speak for him, right? When I was born, January 26, 1976, my mother did what she thought was the right thing to do. And she applied for a birth certificate, right? She applied for a Social Security card because she thought that was the right thing to do. My mother had no idea because going back generation after generation, our birthright and nationality was stripped. It was taken away in 1774. It was stripped away. And we were led to believe that we were this, that we were that. We went from color to Negro, from Negro to Afro-American, from Afro-American to black, from black to African-American, and in 20 years we'll just be whatever. Our birthrights were taken. So now here's the thing. People are saying in order for you to get your birthrights back, you have to become a U.S. citizen. Well, when we got those birth certificates, we were by default U.S. citizens. Our nationality was taken at that moment. As soon as you got that, you agreed. As soon as your mother did it, she agreed to make you a U.S. citizen, to make you a ward of the state. You got all of these people saying that you gotta get naturalized to become nationalized. Well, if they know anything about the law, the only way for you to become naturalized is to give up a nationality and be welcomed into another Juro society or another entity. So it doesn't make sense for me to give up my nationality to become naturalized to go and get nationality. That's stupid. That's just like walking around a revolving door and never exiting. That's what you're doing. So when you're talking about birthrights, you're talking about something that's yours. You're talking about going consanguinity, your bloodline, your pedigree gives you those birthrights. People talk about sovereignty. You only talk sovereignty if you're talking nationality. An Italian can't be sovereign here. He can only be sovereign in Italy. We're Moors. We're Aboriginal. We're indigenous to this land. Our birthrights are here. We sacrifice them with them birth certificates. When you proclaim and declare your nationality, you coming back for your birthrights. It's a shame, Sheik, man. We got so many people, man, that's out here teaching this bad information, man. And all people got to do is read and research. When I came on the line, I heard you saying, y'all need to stop the BS and study. Listen, it only takes 30 minutes a night. 30 minutes a day. Read about naturalization. Go back and read the Naturalization Act. And then you'll start to see the bull that these people are pulling, the wool that they're pulling over your eyes. The BS will become clear. Then you won't want to attack RV Bay and say RV Bay is not this and RV Bay is not that. Listen, man, who else put up an online university for you to go study for free? People talking about RV Bay taking people's money. RV Bay ain't charging nobody for nothing. If they provide a service and you compensate them, that's one thing. If you're buying books, but RV Bay ain't charging nobody $2,000, $3,000 for anything. RV Bay ain't telling nobody to go jump off a bridge. They are simply providing information. You take it and you use it how you use it. So stop the finger pointing. Stop the bullshit. Ain't nobody out. Cujo's written books. Tarik Bey's written books. Raj Mariah's written books. Abdullah Iltili Mosi Bey has written books. I wrote a book. How come we ain't getting no literature from all of these people who pointing fingers?
Straight.
So when you're talking about Canaanland Moors, when you're talking about RV Bay Publications, when you're talking about Moors Order at the Round Table, you're talking about a family. I'm saying it on the record right now. I've said it before. I'm saying it again. You're talking about a family. Nobody putting out work like we putting out work. Nobody putting out. Everybody got something to say about Taj. Taj ain't teaching this. Taj ain't teaching that. Taj got 34 books that he's written. And he probably got 50 that y'all don't know about. Them 34 books, ain't nobody touching none of that information. Nobody touching that information. Where's your literature? You say you a sheep. Where's the literature that you're supposed to have produced? Because that's a requirement to be a sheep.
Yep.
You're supposed to produce literature. Where's the literature? You don't got no literature, keep your mouth shut. Don't attack Cujo. Don't attack Raj. Don't attack Abdullah. Don't attack Taj. Don't attack Ramiel. Keep your mouth shut because all of them got literature.
Straight up.
I'm tired of the bull. I'm tired of the bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
I'm trying not to get heated, but yeah, man, I'm just tired of the nonsense, man. Everybody mumbling and they ain't got no clue, man, how they making us look to the rest of the world. Right. They're laughing at us because of your ignorance.
Right, they're laughing at us all because of these few ignorant people.
They laughing at us, man, because of their ignorance, man. And you listen, man. You want to say, hey, you want to. If you say Cujo's not teaching right, if you say Taj is not teaching right, and Abdullah's not teaching right, and Rise is not teaching right now, then teach the right stuff. It's really simple. If I feel like you're not teaching right, I'm not going to make 50, 55 videos about Cujo. Then I'm going to just start teaching right around what Cujo's teaching. People know truth when they hear it. If they hear it and they know it's true, they'll accept it. Right quick. That movie X, when Denzel played Il Haj Malik El Shabazz. In that movie, Elijah Muhammad, the guy that portrayed Elijah Muhammad, had two glasses. One with clean water and one with dirty water. He pointed to the glass of clean water and said, this is truth. You give it to the people, they'll drink it. You give them that filth, they're going to look at it and they're not going to want it. That's all that's going on out here, people. We giving them truth, and that's why they keep on drinking the water that we give them. Mm-hmm. Y'all giving them filth, and that's why they're not listening. People watch y'all videos because they like to be entertained. That's it.
Right.
They're not watching them because they're getting truth. They like it because they watch it for the entertainment. Mm-hmm. People like drama. But all we pouring is pure, clean, distilled water. That's it. Islam, bro.
Give thanks more. I'll let you go back to your thing. Tell Bri I said peace in Islam.
She said Islam. All right, man. I'm gonna wind down, man.
Yeah, yo, do your thing. Do your thing. I know we got you. We got you on the horse right now. Going.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, good. Look, man, because I keep, you know me, I just keep on going on that action. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because it's nonsense, man. How long you on for? So 9?
No, yo. I came on at 6:30, so we probably got another 5 minutes or something. We already Hulk smashed them, so we don't even need to do
All right, man. All right,
Mark.
I'm ready.
Yeah. just go out.
Love everybody, man.
Just go have a piece of apple pie. Bring yourself down.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. That's an inside joke, y'all. Don't worry about it.
Islam, boy.
Islam, man.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Islam. So you already know, Moors. We don't take that BS, right? Tides have turned. Things are working in the favor of the Moors who are active, not passive. Islam to my good brother, Abayomi Bey, who's battling right now. We're not even going to put anything out yet, but, you know, we're going to say this again for the Moors. It is important, it is extremely important that, one, you take your studying serious. Take your studying serious, because these operators who have their little agents working for them to make sure that our people stay deaf, dumb, and blind, they are going to great lengths. They are going to great lengths to try to destroy the credibility when you start standing up for your right. When you start standing up for the fact that you know that U.S is not a citizenship, and you know that you have Declaration of Rights of indigenous people, so you have the right to change your nationality anytime. When you recognize that you have a constitution, and once these people start violating the constitution, you have a right to overthrow them and start your own stuff, these people are going to be making sure that they come at you. If you play a good Morisco, they'll probably leave you alone. Do you want to be Morisco still? Go right ahead. But like Brother SetenRa's Bay said, right? There's some of us out here on this nationality and birthrights that will go to the grave standing up for our right. Right? We'll go to the grave standing up for our right. So I want to say Islam again to all the Moors. Give thanks for the time. And then also, too, I'm going to take a page out of Brother Sabir's book. Make sure everybody who's in support, we see 79 people on here. There should be 79 plus 36 thumbs up on this video right here. to cancel out these 3 jackasses who thumbs down, whoever they are. I'm pretty sure I heard the Moors say that Wrong Whale was up in here, so I'm sure he's one. And then I'm sure there's a couple other loose balls, you know, a couple other Revenge of the Nerds on here that they're trying to, you know, be somebody by thumbs downing our stuff. When we don't care about them and their thumbs down, they can stick their thumbs down somewhere where the sun doesn't shine. Yeah, Tarik-ites probably one, but you know he's not gonna come in the chat because you know Moors are gonna kick his ass if he comes in this chat. So he doesn't have a chance to stand in this chat right here. So Islam to all the Moors, Brother Jed, Islam, we're you know what I mean, getting ready for Montreal. We're going to be doing our Ottawa end of the month, the 24th, we'll be in Ottawa. 10th and 17th of February, we're doing our Correcting Black History Month, Moorish History Month, Question the Moorish Challenge to everybody out there, right? Everybody out there who has a issue with Moors and an issue with nationality, issue with noble duality, issue with, you know what I mean, us standing up for our rights and whatever, come on down and ask whatever questions you want. On the 10th, we have the good doctor, the good professor, Kaba Kamene, formerly known as Booker T. Coleman. We're going to have him live, so people can ask the scholar questions. And of course, you know, if none of them show up, like, which is what we're expecting, Moors, you know what I mean? You get to build with the master teacher, get all your historical questions lined up, just in case the Negroes or the Moriscos don't show up. Just in case the Moriscos don't show up, you can get your questions answered. Islam to all the Moors, and we'll close out. Oh yeah, and in my Supreme L voice.
Hawker, Pig Pen, Bay.
You suck. Casanova, what up, fam? You already know. You already know. Scared to say don't touch my ass, you b-ball coward. Try that with me. Ball in your face, no 48 hours. Punks in dresses, wearing headbands with flowers. Kendrick Lamar, all boys, bars after hours. J. Cole's with them. Those Negroes with record deals can't drive their own cars, just spinning the wheels. Faking the funk, not from the main source. Stateless rhyming, saying nothing, so it's nothing more than miming. Frontin', started at the top and telling you the bottom. Get a plane in your name if you'll take it in the bottom. No thanks, not trying to be in those ranks, having to sell out my people but chained to a plank. Blood dripping, sharks all around, swimming circles. End up like Pac cause they said that they won't hurt you. Trust them, then the hologram of Tupac busting. Coke on his nose, eating a McMuffin. No listening to rappers, only master MCs. In a b-boy pose when you capture MCs. No tight jeans, worn by Moorish master MC. Big beads and wood pendants when you capture MCs. No listening to rappers, only master MCs. In a b-boy pose when you capture MCs. No tight jeans, worn by Moorish master MC. Big beads and wood pendants when you capture MC. Watch out, keep eyes open, it's fake snowing. Malcolm Moore, the best rapper with his Grammy glowing. They're not taking over, blacks just give it away and wonder why they have nothing and living this way. Uncivilized position, forced on a civilized mission. Dissing our self-proclaimed racist when the civilized dissing. And it's cheating the land, gods carry heat in hands. Bringing lower self-fixators, assisting the plans. Knowing and unknowing, some telling and showing. Most are only seeing what they taught to believe in. Dumbing them down, the wrong channel you're choosing. Caught up in sovereignty schemes and always losing. It's a wretched world, axe fanning. Play a whack track and a whack rap from the bandwagon. Zombies jump on like couches and wagons. Or concentration camp fought black painted cannons. Or New Year's dragons. Or Saints Day to drink beer cause they killed Nagas. People lost their minds and they're not getting it back. Rap e-pills, commercial rap kill you like crack. When Moors say it, conscious blacks say prove that. And they still won't accept the proof facts. I'm not feeling too many of these rapping new jacks. I guess that's that on Casanova's beat boom back. No listening to rappers, only master MCs in a b-boy pose when you capture MCs. No tight jeans, worn by Moorish master MC. Big beads and wood pendants when you capture MCs. No listening to rappers, only master MCs in a b-boy pose when you capture MCs. No tight jeans, worn by Moorish master MC. Big beads and wood pendants when you capture MCs. When more study our Quran and questions for Moorish children, prosecutors and magistrates hate us in the admin buildings, challenging jurisdiction, paperwork sent first, no fiat, quenching their money-hungry, bloody credit thirst. Trustees benefit when they escheat your estate. That you thought was a provincial state is a big mistake. From corporate plantations, there's no escape or back door unless reserve rights on contract doors. Keep eyes open for, like you misplaced something. It's witchcraft when you hear caught and your heartbeats jumping. Extortion, past due letters, fake money, bounty hunting. Filing public records, papers with in-debt counties fronting to have authority, constitution approved. But those filed papers at the county doesn't stop the abuse. Might as well just put on the noose, shackles and chains on ankles, no boots. In snowstorms with no shame, with no status, no flag, no free national name. With fractional damage, collateral, irrational claims. Catch a psych evaluation or contempt of quasi-court. Calling out what's not in evidence won't set a precedence. Misprision of treason and gross negligence, denying due process and sharing the same sentiments. On you harder than cement is. If you give them a chance, I'm here to help you not enter their brainwash camps. Keep your neck hidden, no kidding. Watch out for vamps, light revealer, and keeper won't keep casting the lamps. Always giving without expecting thanks. In a b-boy stance, scimitar swinging at outstretched hands.
My attack is purely mental and its nature's not fit. It's meant to wake you up out of your brainwash. My attack is purely mental and its nature's not fit. It's meant to wake you up out of your brainwash.
Yo, they run on a fraud with elegance, lower self-elements. Get the gentleness stomp of Hannibal Alp elephants. Taking back our settlements, induce relevant resonance. In full life, ancestral mind, no artificial intelligence. Men turn bionic, high off the seedless hydroponic. Thinking they on it, but what they on it must be demonic. Not Baphomet, Moroccan star on his head. Crescent moons of Islam, he uses caduceus from Kemet. Sitting in meditation, goatee like a Rasta. Raised Kundalini light bursts out the crown chakra. Volcanic viewed HD and panoramic. No ayahuasca root, seeing signs and symbols automatic. Dinner plate eyes, cause mine's so wide open. Maybe an omen, can't see truth cause your third eye's swollen. And it's not going down no matter what spell's smoking. Or your devotion or golden potent potion. Can't even use water frozen, Moorish shogun. Says the calcifying chambers now rest in the bottom of oceans. Left hoping, false prophet quoting and chasing. Minds under control like lasers for steel engraving. Mental blocks and thought barricades, the real enslaving. No cape, no type, no dynamic duo when I'm saving. With heads locked, pop brainwash, don't think I'm breaking or b-boying. Put scholars, very annoying. With hillbilly sovereigns, knowledge hee-hawing. Being sold out by my owners, what has me warring?
My attack is purely mental and its nature's not fit. It's meant to wake you up out of your brainwash. My attack is purely mental and its nature's not fit. It's meant to wake you up out of your brainwash. My attack is purely mental and its nature's not fit. It's meant to wake you up out of your brainwash. My attack is purely mental and its nature's not fit. It's meant to wake you up out of your brainwash. My attack is purely mental and its nature's not fit. It's meant to wake you up, wake you up, wake you up. My attack is purely mental. Wake you up out of your brain.